which led to his family home where he was
Right.
married with children. The police going there. Halle Berry's dating one of the police officers. King. He's like very, he wants to do a good job as he knows that she's struggling, right? Um, and he's talking to the wife, and this is the scene that so stands out to me.
Oh, yeah.
Is he comes in and he's talking to this wife and their two children, they're at the table, and he's trying to figure out, like, is there Hey, I'm Kit,
And I'm Cade,
and we're real people.
doing real reviews.
We are continuing our season 3 stories that stick in the theme of survival.
Survival?
This is Kate's pick. Tell us what you picked.
I picked
Mm,
The Call.
the
With
call. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think that for this theme, why I chose this movie was because it's survival in a specific situation.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I thought it was a very cool kind of take on the survival theme. The opposite of yours, where it's like actually in the wilderness and he has to survive. Will he make it? Mine's like, in this situation, can they get through it
Yep.
together, and those sorts of things. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
loved this choice. I was really excited when you suggested it, and it's a thriller. And
Yeah.
Halle Berry plays a 911 operator, and the film is it's interesting on multiple levels because the reason why she's an operator is because her dad was a cop. So she has all of these
Yes.
like tips and tricks and things to like help people in scenarios, good under pressure, all of these things. But she's more maybe observant than the average operator.
Mhm.
And story goes through, she gets a call from a girl, there's a prowler in the house. She's helping the girl to get out. The girl loses connection. She calls back, which isn't a typical thing that she would do. The prowler realizes there's girl still in the house after thinking that she had left, and the girl is found missing, which is awful. She's taking some time
Right.
away. Then she goes down the journey of, she's back in the office. She gets a call. She realizes it's a young girl. And then it goes to the journey of like what is happening with this young girl. And she's in this position where she had actually taken a teaching position at the 911 place because she was like, she's just wanting to heal and make sure that she didn't make mistakes in the future. So she's just trying to navigate her career. And she ends up taking the call because the person that had taken it wasn't equipped to do it.
Right. Starts freaking out a bit
Yeah.
and fumbling. So then she sits in,
Mm-hmm.
and she's kind of like trying to get the criteria, because obviously this girl's been abducted.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the trunk of a car.
Yep.
Um, and basically I think it's a really cool, she's like asking questions. What do you see? Thinking creatively,
Mhm.
in terms of like how to help, how does she get the information, those sorts of items.
Yeah,
Um,
because the girl's operating off of a burner phone from her girlfriend that had
right.
a boyfriend gave her a burner phone, so so it's not trackable, and her phone was taken, so they have to be creative. There's no way to normally track her. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that's like partly too why I thought of this too, as far as like creative situations.
Yeah.
And so, like, obviously she's like, what do you see? She's like, I see paint cans. And
Mhm.
so she's, telling her to like bust out
Tail light.
the tail light and start pouring the paint out of the car.
Mhm.
Clever, smart kind of ask there. So then they can help locate her.
Yep.
And then, there's a man that comes and's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Mhm.
And
Why is there paint coming out of the car? Before that, she was waving out of the taillight, and
yeah,
and then again, they're in the 911 center. So then another call's like, I'm seeing somebody's hand out the taillight. Like, should I follow them? And then that moves us to the paint moves to the
yeah,
mom being like talking to him, and then being like something's not right, and then finding him,
yeah,
and trying to talk it out, and then ultimately
yeah,
is
killing
is
killing him.
yeah, he gets killed, and the way that the we'll just say psychopath, is taking care of like the situation. He's like, look, you're making me kill these other people, and then puts his body in with her in the trunk, goes in a different vehicle, and then continues like on the journey of.
Which I think is a good point because they were so close to finding her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really took you as the audience, like, to that point where you're like, "Oh, they're so close. They're gonna get her. They're gonna get her." And then it was like cut,
Mm-hmm.
new car,
Yep.
starting all over again. So then she calls back,
Yeah.
and basically they're having to figure out
Where she is.
the whole thing all over again. So then they're like kind of going through the same scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
It's different, so then they have to come up with new creative solutions. The
Mm-hmm.
guy isn't dead, he comes back to life, starts freaking out,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's when, like, he gets killed
In front of her.
in front of her, and, Halle Berry's on the phone, and trying to go through all of that, and then, like, fumbling to find his license.
Yeah, they end up needing gas because, of
Yeah.
course, it's not the planned for car that would have had the gas in it. So then they're at the gas station. She realizes that she can kind of half slide through the middle console in the back. So she's waving at this gas attendant. He notices the psychopath, sets him on fire,
Yeah.
and which again results to this guy after getting the fire out being like, I was set on fire, right? So then the police and the 911 are like, okay, it's this location. Let's kind of keep going. And then they also found the destroyed car and were able to kind of figure out who that belonged to, which led to his family home where he was
Right.
married with children. The police going there. Halle Berry's dating one of the police officers. King. He's like very, he wants to do a good job because he knows that she's struggling, right? Um, and he's talking to the wife, and this is the scene that so stands out to me.
Oh, yeah.
Is he comes in and he's talking to this wife and their two children, they're at the table, and he's trying to figure out like, is there do you have another home, like a lake home?
Mm.
Do you I noticed that there's this very kind of bizarre, it's a memorial, it's an
Yeah.
altar of this, blonde-haired girl that was his sister that passed away, but it's in like a yeah, no yeah, just very kind of, set up like an altar, and she's like, "Well, yeah, but, like, he's under renovations," and through this interaction of her being like, We're married with kids, like, he's wonderful, like, he's an average person," and they're like, "A young girl is going to die if you don't tell me, like, what is
Right.
happening," and then she's like, "This is ridiculous," and as they're asking her questions, she's realizing, "Oh my gosh, he maybe is
This.
this psychopath,"
Yeah.
in the conversation. It's not said, it's just how she answers, and I thought, "My gosh, like, what a well-acted scene," because you can see with devastation, she's like, "He's been renovating,
Mhm.
and we haven't gone up there, and yes, it is in a rural spot, and yeah, like, we burned down the old house, and, like, it's just this other house, and oh my gosh," and, so they start heading out there, and, so they're like, "Okay, like, we found the location." They search through the house.
Nothing.
Nothing. And in this time, the girl is pulled out of the trunk of this vehicle, and Halle Berry is on the phone, and he realizes that they had been listened to, and he talks to her. Now he
Yes.
had said something to the operator uh,
In the first.
in the first kill, and she's just
Yeah.
putting them together. So the kill that put her through the trauma that she was experiencing, she realizes it's the same guy.
Same guy. Yeah.
And so because again she was stuck in a bit of a loop, she's like, well, I'm gonna go out there, which
Well, I think,
mhm,
like, also too, he's a bad guy in the beginning,
mhm,
and you don't necessarily know that it's the same person, but then he kills someone, and then it kinda builds and builds on how
twisted,
twisted
even with
he
the
is.
items in the vehicle.
Yeah,
Mhm,
like, so it's like, there's the shovel, whatever, you're really not sure, you're like, "Oh, he's bad," then he kills the other guy,
mhm,
and then she talks to him on the phone, he says the exact same thing,
mhm,
and then she realizes he's done this before, which
mhm,
elevates it even more.
mhm,
You see the little shrine at his house for his sister. You're like,
mhm,
odd,
yep,
not sure what's going on there. And then it's like
yep,
it cuts to like them being gone. They look in the house, no one's there.
mhm,
And Halle Berry's left with
replaying the tapes and just
replaying the
listening.
tapes over and over again, but, like, it's interesting earlier in the movie where they're like, "No, you don't really know what happens after you get the call," but, like, she's stuck on it now because she knows what's happened after the first one.
Mhm.
So she knows that this girl's gonna die if she doesn't come up with a solution or help.
Yep.
And so she keeps replaying this tape over and over again, and she hears this, like, clicking sound,
Mhm.
and then she basically is like, "I'm gonna go out there."
And she doesn't tell anyone, which is kind of, like,
Yeah,
interesting because 'cause you're like, well, you're gonna drive by, like, the cop that you know, like, on
right.
the street, you're gonna do these things, and she's just, like, gonna drive out there.
I'm just gonna do it.
She's like, "I just" like, "I'm just going crazy. Like, I need to go and do it," which almost was very human, right? Because so much of, like, her even doing this training and teaching these other people how to come and be 911 operators is, like, robotic, mechanical. You
Yeah,
can't get tied to your people.
don't
You
get
can't don't make
attached.
promises, don't anything, like, no, you don't know what happens after the call, like, these types of things, and then here she is obviously opposite, right? Like very attached and wanting to figure this out and kind of breaking the rules and
Yeah,
going to this space, which I feel like is such a human side of like what you might experience if you were very sure that this bad person was going to do something like do something wrong to a little girl. Like,
mhm.
how would you handle that? And because I like, there's no way I could be a 911 operator. I would be like, I'd be like, what are you doing? Where do you live? Like,
Right.
I would be sitting down with that wife, like, I would be oh my gosh, there'd be no way.
Well, I mean, also
Mm,
too, it's also funny that they had that other call from that guy that apparently calls in all the time,
yeah, like
and they know how to handle it.
and they're like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, this is
Yeah.
this guy who's just, yeah, always in the drunk tank
Always
thing."
in the drunk tank.
Mhm,
But she goes out to the house,
mhm.
she looks around the house and then sees all of these pictures
More shrine things.
of, the man as a
Mhm,
boy with his sister,
yeah,
and they get more and more creepy, and it shows that she, like, has cancer, and she's
mhm,
lost her hair,
yeah,
and then she's still looking around, and she's about to leave, and she hears that same noise that she heard on the tape, which turns out to be a flagpole,
mhm,
and so she walks over to it, and then that's where she finds this trap door
mhm,
to this basement or underground shelter of some sort.
mhm,
And she opens it, and then, funny enough, she drops her phone because she's trying to call 911. Like, she's
mhm.
like, "Hey, I found something." So she's trying to be
Good.
smart about it,
Mhm.
and then drops her phone down in the hole.
Into the hole and you're just like, "No, no, no, Halle Berry."
Yeah, you're like, "Don't do it," but what do you do in that situation?
You have to go get you can't just
well,
leave your phone there.
would you jump in your car and drive somewhere, or would you get your phone? I guess that would be a turning point.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
What would I do? I mean, I can't see me being out there and without telling
Someone
the cop
in
friend.
the first
I
place.
know I'm doing something I shouldn't, but it's
Yeah,
gonna help me and him being
yeah.
like, "Oh, I feel like that would have been a me. So there would have been a step before me. Like dropping my phone down. Would I pick it up? Oh, tough to say. Down into a hole? Cause like you said, it's basically like it looks like it would have been the cellar or the basement of the home that got burnt down.
Yeah.
And they live in this little renovated cabin on the back end, right? And so, I just I don't know if I would feel like it's safe or,
Well, it
anything.
certainly wasn't safe.
Yeah, it's very gross. And so she makes the choice to go and grab it. Maybe just to grab it and come back up, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna get it, I'll go back up and then I'll make the call in the
Oh,
car.
that's true. Yeah,
Right?
she was gonna do that, however, he was coming.
Yeah. So
Like,
she
she heard rumbling,
Mhm.
and then so she ducks into this room.
The creepiest, oh, like, turn your stomach creepy. This little girl's room, pink room, potentially was like either a depiction of exactly how his sister's room would have looked, or it actually was a sister's room in the basement of the house that he
Right.
renovated to make it, stay there. Um, he comes into the room, so she is hiding in like a wardrobe, like a freestanding wardrobe, and he is being weird and smelling
Yes.
these sections of hair that have been scalped off of living like girls, and he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, kind of smelling them, wearing them, all these things. And once it's not alive, like he throws it into this like mini fridge, basically in the room, and he's touching some of the clothes, must have been his sister's, and goes to leave the room, and it is very disturbing because you're very much aware of what's going to happen to this little girl, which is that he's going to take her hair off of her scalp.
Yeah.
hmm He works for a medical supply company, so he has access to all of these things, which gross, and also just a predator being determined to do what he's going to do. And yeah, and so she can see that he's going to like kind of scalp this girl, and she's
Scalper, yeah.
hmm
And so basically she hits him in the midst of that and, like, unties the girl.
hmm
There's a struggle back and forth,
hmm
and then he comes to,
hmm
and they have a bit more of a fight.
hmm
He's trying to drown and kill Halle Berry too
hmm
in the midst of that.
Yeah.
And then, basically the little girl,
Mhm.
does exactly what Halle Berry says in the beginning and says she's gonna fight.
Mhm.
And so she basically knocks him out and they get away. And then they're like, well, should we?
Should we just run off into the night, or should we so then they tie him up into that little room, and what they say to him is, "Nobody knows where this is, so,
Yeah.
Halle Berry found this girl in the woods. Bye." And, which, of course, they could have told afterwards, but just to, like, mentally really get to him, they made sure to do that, and he's quite destroyed, and it's very satisfying.
Mm.
Um,
It's
yeah.
very satisfying as the audience too.
Mhm. Yeah, and then they kind of move out of the frame, and that's the end of the movie. Um, it's interesting because I was saying to Kate earlier when we were talking about this series is that as somebody who really like I love this type of genre. I love films like this. I watch lots of them, but this one so stands out to me as well. And I think it's the depiction of how they put this kind of serial killer together, and how when you're watching the car and watching the girl wave out the tail light and do the paint and try to find ways to survive, try to crawl through, like all of these things, you believe that's how you would react or respond, and do these instructions as you're kind of trying to figure things out. And so I feel like they did an amazing job at telling such a scary story.
Mhm.
And where the end of the movie is very like they've decided to be twisted because they can, in that like, well, nobody knows where you're by, like, you'll die here. Um and that being like that's how it's dark. So it's still tied up in a nice bow, you know?
Right.
He doesn't escape. He doesn't get away with anything.
They survive.
They survive. And it's there is like it is really well done. It's very sharp, it's bright, it moves quickly. You feel very tense like the entire time,
Mhm.
which I love that in a movie where you're like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh," like constantly. And it's a quick watch, but it so stood out to me, which I thought it's interesting because we were talking about it didn't get rated super high in the traditional senses,
Truly.
which what a shame because it is so great and such a great film. And as like I said, as somebody who's very much like, I have a great library in that genre, even in that timeline that I still was like, I know exactly that movie.
Yeah.
That movie so stood out to me. Really well done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it because it's, like an everyday,
Mhm.
in the daylight kind of
Mhm.
could happen.
Yep.
Does happen. We see similar things
Yep.
on the news now, which I think is a very for me,
Mhm.
makes a very scary kind of thriller kind of movie because it could happen.
It could happen. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's just twisted enough that it's believable,
Yeah.
right? Where it's around an obsession. Potentially there was incest with this sister. You're not 100% sure, but it's very twisted that way, which led to this obsession, which led to like why he's doing
Right.
like the kills, which I'm like, that's actually interesting. Instead of it being sexually motivated or it being that it's a what have you, like all kinds of different
Right.
angles, that the choice was like, it's this very specific twisted thing that this one particular person, and this is why this is difficult to figure out because it's
Mhm.
so on its own. And yeah,
It was a very smart,
yeah,
well thought out character development for all the characters,
yeah, yes,
you know,
all of them.
and in the midst of it, like telling those bits and pieces
Hmm.
kind of throughout the movie,
Yeah.
which I thought was good.
And lots of it just visual, no explanation, just visual cues, which I thought was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So it left it up to your imagination, but like told you enough to get you along there.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Really good. Do you remember what you rated it?
Yeah, so I rated this one an 8.5
Was I the same?
and you rated it a
A 7 in the middle,
7.5.
7.5 in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that because it was, um, yeah, it's like it's clever, it's good, it's sharp, it's in the middle. I would recommend it. I've watched it again for
Yeah.
sure, but it's not so different that I'd be like, oh, it gets this, maybe bigger number from me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So tell me
No,
why it
for
was
me,
good
I
for
think
you.
I've watched this movie so many times over the years. Like I
Hmm.
think it's like a fun
Go to.
go-to thriller,
Yeah.
like action enough, but also real life as well as, thinking outside of the box, I think is really cool, as well as I think what one thing that I took out of this movie,
Mm.
um, and probably says a lot about me is, um, being cool under pressure.
Mm.
Like Halle Berry has to be so
Professional.
professional, well, just calm and collected because if she gets any sense of fear or scared over the phone talking to this girl, it's just over
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So I think like that's something like for sure I've had to deal with over the years as far as,
Oh yeah.
just being really calm under pressure and figuring out solutions and going with it. And it does turn out into kind of that successful kind of ending
Yeah.
through there. So yeah.
Yeah. I would
So
say that about yourself and also for others. Like you're good at like talking others through it too. So yeah, maybe your connection to Halle Berry there. Like that's
yeah, I would say that's my why this movie kind of always sticks with me is because I'm like, talk about the ultimate situation that stress. Like,
Mhm.
there's someone on the other end of the phone that could die, and you know that's going to happen to them, and you have to come up with these creative solutions. One, to keep them calm
Mhm.
and to talk you through it, but also to figure out a way to get them out of that situation.
Yeah. And that the other ways don't work. Like the police are trying, everybody's
Yeah,
trying.
everyone's trying, but
Slow.
you've gotta
Yeah.
keep going,
Mhm.
she's also finding the information to give the other people, so
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I like the cool under the chaos
Yeah.
mindset for sure. Yeah. Really liked this film. Really good choice. Yeah. Really, really good. If you are watching us via broadcast, continue. We will be doing our next
Yeah.
theme next. And if you are on podcast, then anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, and we're also on socials.
Yes, at Cade and Kit.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Like, bye, guys.